Okay, everyone, this is the matter of Richie versus Elizabeth Gray Salon. Mr. Richie, it's my understanding from the documents that you file with this court that you sustained injuries at Miss Gray's salon, and you're asking this court to award you medical expenses of $10,000, pain and suffering of $70,000 for a total award of $80,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I know. Some courts are television courts. He asked for 80,000 and he was injured. What happened?
And Miss Gray, it's your position that you provided the service he requested, and this is not your fault. True?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let's get into the legal sauce. Mr. Richie, what brought you to Miss Gray's salon this day?
Was it a hair salon? What happened? Did she cut his piece of his ear off or burned his scalp with bleach? What happened?
As a software engineer, I don't really get the chance to meet a lot of women. I've been doing this for about 10 years and I still don't have a ring or anything like that to show for it.
It's not because you are an engineer that you don't meet a lot of women. You are not bad looking. You have to be confident. The more you are confident, the more people are noticing you. Holding yourself back and say, I'm not good at this and I'm not good at that and I'm not a good looking person. Be positive. Show it that you are beautiful. Every person is beautiful in his own way, in his unique way. You just not met the right person.
I met this wonderful woman named Debbie, and we had been talking for a good long while. We've been texting, and it finally came down to the point where she not only wanted to go on a date, but she wanted to go on a trip. She wanted to go to the beach.
That's a truth or dare moment.
I was actually a little bit self-conscious about something that my friend Dave told me. He said that I had to do something about my organic sweater, so to speak, my body hair, Your Honor.
Oh, it's not in a hair salon. It's a beauty salon. He wants to remove his body hair. Okay, some women like that, some women don't. That's a personal thing.
I have a lot of it, and he said she'll think it's gross. I need to do something about it.
He didn't know what she thought about it. You could ask her. Don't ask a friend. There are women who likes that.
Miss Gray, tell me about your salon.
I am the owner of the Elizabeth Gray Salon. We specialize in facial and hair removal. I've been in business for about 10 years. We offer so many choices, from laser, which uses a beam of light, to electrolysis, which is electricity, to sugar waxing as well, which is we just rip it right off with a strip.
Sugar waxing is less painful than hot wax. My wife do both. My wife is a beautician and she do both. And she took the sugar wax extra because of the sensitive places.
75% of my clients are women. However, in recent years, Your Honor, I've seen a lot of men coming in for some grooming, waxing some obvious places and not so obvious places.
Ooh, yes, it happens, yes.
So guys get more wax than their chest.
Exactly. Everyone likes a little grooming and look their best. I really believe, Your Honor, that if I can help not only women, but all people look beautiful, that inside it will help them feel better about themselves.
It's a personal thing. There are people that want to have hair, even in their armpits, even women. There is nobody who would tell you what to do. Or it should be your partner, and still, it has to be with respect. You have to have respect for everybody's choice. If you want to have body hair, wear body hair. There will be somebody who likes that. But don't do it for somebody else. That's my personal thing. If I want to shave something, if I want to shave my beard, I will do it for me, not for my wife. Of course, you want to be beautiful for your partner, and you have to talk about it. What do you like, what you don't like? But you have to live with yourself. Don't be beautiful for somebody else. Be beautiful for yourself.
So, Mr. Richie, what happened?
They take me to this back room where there's no windows or anything and get me down to just my boxers and a robe.
Well, if you want to have removed your body hair, you have to remove your shirt. Well, not your trousers, but luckily there were no windows.
The wax lady comes up to me and she asks, "What's your pain tolerance?" And I figured since my bud Dave could handle it, so could I, so I just said average. They started off with just one patch of skin.
I have to say, and my wife says it, men are not used to have their body waxed. Men are always saying it's more painful than the women. The women are used to do that, and you have to get rid of it. It's depending your pain tolerance. I have a high pain tolerance. My wife waxes my nose, not the hair deep in my nose, but on the front, because the hair's deep in your nose. You need that to protect you. But in front, and it hurts a little bit, but I have tattoos, so yeah, I have a high tolerance.
They started off by getting this kind of like the stick and rubbing a little bit of the wax on one half of my chest.
Okay.
And then
Now, it wasn't hurting yet, right?
it was already getting there, but I was just trying to bear through it.
Okay.
So
It was painful when they put the wax on. If it's painful, it should be painful if they rip it off.
she gets out the piece of paper and she presses into my skin. That's when I really felt like something was not right.
This is too hot. If it's painful, if it's on your body and they press it and it's too warm.
She rips it off and a piece of my skin with it.
Does it feel like your skin was ripping off, or was it actually ripping off?
Until my skin just looked ravaged. It was bubbling, it was blistering. It did not seem like everything was all right. I asked the wax lady, is this supposed to be normal?
I'm pretty sure it was too hot.
And she told me, quit being a baby, man up.
Is this actually true? Because they can give it a little bit of extra sauce.
No.
This is what that wax did to your skin?
Yes, Your Honor, and it's still painful just standing here in this shirt.
It's burned.
Is that how this is supposed to work, Miss Gray? That sounds like a torture chamber.
No, Your Honor. That is not how it works at my salon.
Well, how is this supposed to work?
Well, at the time of this incident, I was in my office doing some filing papers, and one of my estheticians came running back to me, and she said she had provided a service to Mr. Ricci. He ran out of the salon without paying.
All she cares
She
about is the
even
money. When I had to run to the ER
Your
for
Honor,
second-degree burns.
Our process at our
But
salon.
isn't this simple, though, that you put hot wax on the skin and you rip the skin off, then it's not supposed to be that way, right? Isn't it that simple?
I guess he ran out of pain, and indeed he went to the ER.
Actually, it's not that simple.
Okay.
But we offer various choices to remove hair. And we tried to talk with Mr. Ricci. He did not want to hear it. He
Your
started
Honor, I was
waving
on my
his
lunch
hands
break. I was
all
just trying to get
around.
in, get out.
He
This is supposed to be
was
something
in
simple.
And out. That is not the process of our salon.
What options did you
We
get?
offer laser. That's when we use a beam of light. We offer electrolysis, using electricity to burn the hair follicle. Sugar wax, a substance over the subject where we use a strip to take off the hair in the opposite direction of hair growth.
Nice picture. This person doesn't have any hair on his chest. Of course, if somebody goes in his lunch break and they have an appointment for a lunch break and you give the options, but laser, it takes longer. You cannot do that in a very short time. He wanted to have it quickly, and sugar wax is quickly. Maybe they want it to be too quickly and they heat it up too fast. If I have to put the wax on in the morning for my wife, she always says, don't go higher than number 4. You can put it on 7 or 8. Don't put it over 4.
So if he had used these other options, then he wouldn't have had these injuries?
Exactly. If he would have listened to what my esthetician was trying to tell him, but instead he would not.
What? So it's his fault because he's not choosing for the laser. No, it's not because you don't choose for laser. You get the wax, you get burned. No.
Did they
That
give
is
you
not true.
options?
No, Your Honor, they did not give me all the options.
Because you were not listening, Mr. Ricci.
If he doesn't understand the options, then it's pretty natural that he choose what you put in front of him, right?
Maybe they set the options because every salon wants to have the maximum. The laser costs much more than the sugar wax. So they will give that option, and maybe he's embarrassed to say, I didn't want to pay too much. I just want it quick and cheap. But it's not because he wants quick and cheap. You have to burn him.
And that's where he is not being forthcoming with the truth. We sat him down to make sure he understood his choices. And we
Okay.
offer many, as I've already stated. He would not listen. We even
But look
tested.
at his chest, Miss Gray. Hot wax, is it supposed to do that?
This is unfortunate, but however, we tested a patch of his skin with hot wax. He did not complain at all, Your Honor. He even said, oh, my tolerance level for pain is average.
Yeah, that's a man. A man has to be tough.
And if he does not let someone know about if this hurts or doesn't hurt, how are we supposed to know?
You have to know how warm your wax is.
Anytime we deal with cases that involve a pain tolerance, it's always dangerous to compare women's pain tolerance versus men.
Exactly.
Please explain your injuries.
Not only did I experience second-degree burns, they ravaged and permanently scarred my chest for the rest of my life. This staff at Elizabeth Gray's Salon have permanently damaged any chances of ever meeting another Debbie for the rest of my life. This is what her staff did to me, Your Honor.
That looks like that hurts right now.
At this point, you know that this court is reenacted because no way his skin is that red. It can be permanently damaged. The wax was not 1 week ago, so it's just to add a little bit to the case.
Ms. Gray, you see, these are real permanent injuries.
He did not say anything that he was in any pain. He just kept silent. This is the first time I'm
silent. I was rolling around on the table, panting, and I asked her, was this normal? Was this supposed to be happening? And she told me, man up, quit being a baby.
Mr. Ritchie, I'm not as brave as you are. I've never had manscaping. So I've got to understand exactly how this happens from a technical standpoint. This court has consulted an expert esthetician, Miss Erin Renee. Sheriff, will you get Miss Renee from the hallway, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell the truth next time, Mr. Ritchie.
Talk to me, folks. Good day, Miss Renee.
Hi.
How long have you been working as an esthetician?
I've been an esthetician for 14 years. I did bring a model because I wanted to show the process of hair removal with waxing. With the hot wax, all estheticians who perform this service always check the temperature of the wax before they start removing hair. And we check the temperature on ourselves by applying a little bit on the inside of our arm here. And that way, we know exactly what the client is going to be experiencing.
I have to ask my wife if she checks the temperature on the inside of her arm. Let me ask her. I want to know now. She checks it. She always checks it on herself if it's hot.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull it. Yes. So you'll feel it.
I'm seeing his reaction. He's got tears in his eyes. Mr. Robbins, thank you for coming in here. How did that feel?
It hurt.
Men are such pussies. I'm sorry for what I'm saying, but it's real. This is really ridiculous. Of course, it's... How do you say it in English? It's not hurting. It's like how you say it in English, because it's not my mother tongue. It's a sharp pain, a very sharp pain. You know, it's not like you twist your ankle or you hit your head, but I don't call it a pain. If I see it on Google Translate, it's a sharp pain.
There are different things that will impact your results. One, what did he do before the waxing? Whether it was laying out by the beach or going to the pool, hanging out, whether it was doing a lot of drinking before he came in to get his service. There are different things that can impact the results.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, if you went into the sun and your skin is burned, of course it will be affecting the waxing. Drinking, maybe for bleeding, because drinking is making your blood thinner and then you can bleed more, but not like the injuries that he has.
Mr. Ritchie, I gotta ask you, were you drinking, taking medications? Did you go to the beach?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I present to you a disclosure form?
Sheriff, if you'll retrieve the disclosure form.
Thank you very much.
It reads, Wax Services Client Release Form. Number 1, have you ever been treated for skin cancer? You mark no.
Correct.
Number 6, are you exposed to the sun on a daily basis Or are you considering spending more time in the sun soon? You marked no.
Correct.
Number 7, do you use a tanning bed?
Listen.
You marked no, and then there's a signature next to the customer signature indication. Is that your signature, Mr. Ritchie?
Your Honor, yes, that might be my signature.
So you lied.
Was he going to the sun because he's an engineer and he doesn't come out much, he said. So was he trying to get a tan for the lady?
So you lied.
How do you know he lied?
I have a witness who can corroborate my story.
And your witness is Miss Alice Roman.
That is correct.
Miss Roman, would you stand and come to the podium?
Absolutely.
What did Mr. Ritchie lie about?
Well, I was in the waiting room with Mr. Ritchie as he was talking on the phone very loudly. I wasn't trying to be nosy. And I overheard him saying that he was at the tanning bed prior to coming into the salon.
You went to the tanning bed, but you said no on the form?
Oh, that's a mistake.
I didn't even have time to really read them before they dragged me to the back, eager
So
to get
once
to their
again, you
torturing.
were not listening and not even reading the questions.
So your skin is very delicate after tanning.
Folks, let me give you a legal lesson. Anytime you go into a business and they have you fill out an information packet or an application, it is very, very, very important that you be honest because they have to rely on your representation. Ms. Roman, you may be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Gray, so your esthetician put the wax on her arm?
The esthetician actually tested his skin, Your Honor. And he did not complain. He did not say anything. Oh, my pain tolerance is average.
Oh, she not tested it on herself, she tested it on him. What's the point? You have to test it on yourself, so you know.
I think I've heard what I need to hear, and I'm ready to render my decision. Folks, in every personal injury case, the plaintiff has to prove really 3 things. You got to prove that the defendant was wrong. That's number 1. Number 2 is that wrong caused your injuries. You've put up evidence here today that you totally relied on Elizabeth Gray's Salon to take the hair off your chest so you could go on this romantic journey with Debbie. Instead, the esthetician put the hot wax on your chest and ripped your skin off, changed your chest forever, and destroyed your opportunity, potentially for the love of your life.
That's a little bit too harsh. I'm not going to say if people have injuries on their skin, they can never meet anybody or be in love with anybody. That's too much.
Your salon gave him several options, but he wasn't listening. He wanted this chest hair gone. He chose the hot wax. Your esthetician actually put it on his skin and asked him, is it too hot?
One mistake.
When he didn't complain, she went forward with the procedure and he got burns. You've pointed out that he was not quite forthcoming on the application where he indicated that he had not been in a tanning bed. In fact, he had. Here, that collision of the evidence raises 2 legal principles. One is care for your own safety. You have a responsibility to take care of yourself long before you look to someone else to take care of you. Part of that is being truthful on the application form. The other legal principle is professional judgment. Although manscaping and hair removal is common, it is a profession. It's why estheticians have to be licensed. Here, that professional judgment involves not only application of the wax, but whether to do it in light of the circumstances. The expert witness put the wax on her own arm to see if it was hot. The evidence in this case, your esthetician tested the wax on his skin. Your salon is responsible for Mr. Ritchie's injuries because your professional judgment is not relieved based on his misrepresentation. You still must exercise professional judgment in determining whether the wax is too hot or not. It is very simple. It was too hot, should not have been put on, it caused real injury. This is your fault. I find in favor of the plaintiff, and I'm going to award you a total award of $80,000 against Elizabeth Gray Salon. That's my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned.
I think 80,000 is a little bit too much, but he's right. She was responsible for not testing it on her arm. She could not know how hot it was. She had to test it on the inside of her arm. That's delicate skin. If somebody comes in my salon and they want to color their hair, we have to test it on the inside of the elbow here, because that's delicate skin. So I'm responsible if I color somebody's hair if I don't test it. All I'm going to say today is, ciao, kus.